of Texas trucks, Overkill and Just Showing Off. Barefoot will take on Barely Tame, and the Master of Disaster with Doug Spanier moving behind the wheel will take on Bigfoot. First matchup is now set. Closest to you, it's Rob Morris and the four-wheel Crazy Ford, the former world champion Taurus, Chevrolet-powered GMC, and Jack Willman is his opponent. There's Taurus. As Willman is ready, he was the fastest qualifier. Taurus loves turning courses, and the Houston Astrodome is no exception. Both drivers waiting on the green flag. The winner moves on, the losers on the trailer. Look at the lead Taurus has already. Jack Willman in firm control. Not surprisingly, it is all Taurus. As a wild ride at the end for four-wheel Crazy, he settles it down, but he's defeated nonetheless. Look at the lead Taurus amassed on the first half of the course, and then does he bang it out at the end. Jack Willman with the win will move in to the second round. The semifinals coming up later. All right, Pablo Huffaker brings out Just Showing Off. Huffaker, a veteran of several years monster truck racing. One of the legends from the Texas area in the monster truck sport back in its early days. Huffaker now ready to try and take on one of the newer Texas trucks. This is Marty Garza and Overkill. Marty out of McAllen, Texas. Overkill builds a little bit of a lead into the turn. Boy, Huffaker having a big problem making the turn, a lot of bounce. Marty Garza and Overkill by about the length of a truck. Oh, Huffaker almost lost it at the end of the run, but shuts it down just in time. On the replay, you can see Huffaker was bouncing up and down, and that was all Marty Garza needed to put him away. Overkill will get a date with Taurus in the semifinal round. Barefoot Chevrolet on the top of your screen from Pontoon Beach, Illinois. That's former world champion Fred Schaefer. He'll take on the Ford out of Albany, Minnesota, Jim Thomas, and the Barely Tame Ford. Thomas has now moved behind the wheel of Barely Tame. Again, this is one of Doug Spanier's trucks out of Albany, Minnesota, and Spanier and Thomas have been known to change behind the wheel. Sometimes one drives the master, sometimes the other. Today now, Thomas is back behind the wheel of Barely Tame. Doesn't look like he's going to be behind the wheel for long because Barefoot's putting him away. All Freddie Schaefer in this first round matchup. The Barefoot Chevrolet dispatches the Ford from Minnesota. This one was all Barefoot. You could see the size of the lead. Once he got over the hill, it was all she wrote for the Barely Tame Ford. Barefoot moves into the semifinals. So Taurus, Overkill, and Barefoot are in the semifinal round. Who will join them? Will it be the legendary Bigfoot? Bigfoot comes in with one of the slower qualifying times, remember. Doug Spanier and Master of Disaster, actually the second best qualifying time so far today. Let's see if Master can back it up. Now as he has to look across the Astrodome and see that he's racing Andy Brass and Bigfoot. Foot's got a big lead early. Al Brass missed the turn. Bigfoot missed the turn. And Master of Disaster, who is not having a good run, will move into the semifinal if he can keep it from going on its roof. Stunning upset right there. Bigfoot just locked him up and missed the turn. Andy Brass slides completely off the course. And the Master of Disaster records the upset in the Houston Astrodome. Put Doug Spanier in the semifinals and get a hook for Bigfoot. He's going on the trailer and heading back to St. Louis. Wow, did that stun the crowd here in the Astrodome? So, in the first round, Taurus whips four-wheel Crazy. Overkill beats Just Showing Off. Taurus and Overkill are set to meet. Barefoot over Barely Tame. The Master of Disaster stuns Bigfoot. Master of Disaster will meet Barefoot later on Super Tracks. The Final Four has become very significant and special in the world of sports, and we're down to our Final Four with the monster trucks in the Houston Astrodome as a great crowd looks on. Here's the semifinal round lineup. Taurus, the Chevy-powered GMC, will meet the Overkill Ford. Then a pair of Chevrolets, Barefoot, going up against the Master of Disaster. Marty Garza, the Overkill Ford, the lone Texan still alive in this competition, going up now against the favorite, former world champion Jack Willman's Taurus GMC with the Chevy power ready to come after him. Taurus opens up a big lead on the first half of the course. Beautiful turn. Jack Willman is flat in control as he blows Overkill away. Boy, barely working up a sweat. What about Taurus? Jack Willman, that Chevrolet power, taking him all the way out with ease. And Taurus will move into the championship matchup against one of these two Chevrolets. The Barefoot Chevrolet, Fred Schaefer, former world champion from Pontoon Beach, Illinois. Or the upstart today, the Master of Disaster, Doug Spanier from Albany, Minnesota, the longtime monster truck veteran. These are two guys who have been through the wars. Let's see who's got what it takes in the dome. Master seems to have the edge into the turn. However, Barefoot's making a much better turn. Master swung very wide. Now the advantage belongs to Barefoot. And Fred Schaefer, Master Disaster almost flipped it on its side at the end of the run. He pulls it back down, but it's too late. Barefoot has captured the victory. Watch the replay. Barefoot clearly takes control on the turn. Now watch Master of Disaster trying to make up some ground. He gets it really sideways, but pulls it back down. Barefoot and Taurus, the longtime rivals, the nemesis, the guys who have battled over the last couple of years for the World Championships on the U.S. Hot Rod Association Tour, will now meet in the Monster Truck Finals right here on Super Tracks. Hope you're ready for this when you talk about Star Wars on the U.S. Hot Rod Association. It's the Chevy-powered GMC from Granite City, Illinois. That, of course, is Taurus and Jack Willman against this former world champion, Fred Schaefer, and the Barefoot Chevrolet from Pontoon Beach, Illinois. This is what it's all about, the main event, the championship in the Houston Astrodome. All they need now is a green light. They're waiting for it. And it's showtime. Taurus with a slight edge to the turn, but Barefoot has made some great turns today. However, not this time. He missed the turn. Barefoot missed the turn, and Taurus can coast home. Taurus looks like he's lost power. Taurus lost power. What an incredible final. Taurus will win it, despite the fact that he stalled on the cars. I thought I'd seen everything watching monster truck racing, but this beats all. Two former world champions, and both of them make huge mistakes. First, it's Barefoot. Fred Schaefer just flat misses the turn. Watch as he cannot keep it in his lane. He skids off the turn, and he can't get it straightened out. Taurus may have glanced at him, and Jack Willman got too much air, bounced down, and let his truck die. Any other time tonight, or any other time just about anywhere, he would have been beaten. But Fred Schaefer was sitting dead in the water because he missed the turn. So Taurus is able to restart the engine, and despite probably being a little embarrassed, Jack Willman's going to take the big trophy all the way back to Granite City, Illinois. Incredible final run and a big smile. Jack Willman knows he got a big break on this day, but it's kind of justice because he had the best truck all day here on Super Tracks, and despite the strange final, Willman will take the win back to Granite City, Illinois. So Taurus defeats Barefoot in the final. Always the best motorsports action is yours every week right here on Super Tracks. I'm Scott Douglas. See you next week with the U.S. Hot Rod Association.